Hello, this is Yayoi Komiyama from The Brain to Belly, and welcome to Spanglish World Networks on Zingo TV, channel 250 and 251. Please remember to download both the Zingo TV app on your respective app stores on iOS and Android devices. While you download, make sure to rate and leave a comment. The app is free. Zingo TV is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, and Fire TV sticks. Roku and Roku sticks also on all smart TVs 2016 and forward. So, hello, and thank you for being here today. Today, my guest is Will Otero of the Stuck in My Mind podcast. So, hi, Will. Welcome.
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm doing great. And thank you for being here today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Definitely my pleasure.
Yes. Um, so, Will has this podcast called Stuck in My Mind, and it's a very interesting podcast. And well, the name is catchy to begin with. And so I wanted to ask Will about how it came about and your journey with that, if that's okay.
Yeah. No. In 2019, I was looking to start a podcast, me and a friend, and it just didn't happen. So because I had purchased a Behringer podcasting studio on Amazon for $160, and so I had the equipment laying around. So when 2020 comes and we were hit with the pandemic, I was furloughed from my job, and I had this equipment in my house, wasn't using it. It was me making up excuses like, "Oh, I'm gonna suck. I have a horrible voice. Who would want to listen to me? What am I gonna talk about?" Or just me making up all types of excuses to not start the podcast.
Yeah.
And so finally, I got tired of doing the honey to do list that my wife had for me, and I decided to really finally press record and upload, and Stuck in My Mind was born.
Wow. Yeah, and I really love that you had mentioned that you all of these disempowering beliefs that you had, like I'm not going to be good enough, and that's something that all of us have. And I guess even in Brain to Belly, we always talk about how the mind controls a lot of our actions, and well, especially with Brain to Belly, it's about what you eat, but also it's about everything you do in life. And I love that your podcast is called Stuck in My Mind because so many of us get stuck in our minds. And so I'm thinking, what can you tell us? The podcast came about, how did it start, and what difference did it make for you, and what kind of influence has it had on people that your viewers or your guests and all this? I would love
Oh,
to
it's
hear that.
therapy for me. This is therapy for me. This is to be able to come out. It really is, because I come out, I get to express myself. I get to be myself. When I'm
Yeah,
on my show, I'm myself. I don't act in a certain way. The same way I'm here right now is how I act on my show. I try to get my guests to be comfortable. I want them to come on to be themselves.
yeah,
Yes, you're there to promote your book, whatever, or if you have a program, or if you have a coaching thing. But for the most part, I just want you to come on, tell your story, so that people can see, like, hey, listen, we're all regular people out here. We all have a story to share, and
yeah.
your story is just as important as my story.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I believe you didn't mention it this time, but when I talked to you before, you had mentioned that you did a lot of work on yourself, personal development work. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, it goes back to So in 2005, my first wife introduced me to the world of self development. The Secret was out, and I got into self development. And then 2008, tragedy struck, and my wife passed away in a car accident. And I think that was her way of preparing me for what was to come, because it was like I was lost for quite a few years. Struggled with just
Mm,
anger issues,
mm,
just the way I was grieving, and it was just I was angry. I just didn't believe. I just didn't understand why me.
Mhm.
And when it finally hit me that it wasn't happening to me on purpose. Like life doesn't happen. Like God isn't punishing me.
Right,
Just
right.
it's just life.
Yes.
And so when I came to that conclusion and just started getting back to what she had showed, like the books that she had showed me, and the people
Yeah,
I went sought counseling and just started turning my life back on because it was many because it seemed like it was just one tragedy after another. I reunite with my dad only to lose him the same year. Um, I buried two brothers, an uncle and an aunt that played a real big part. So I was angry with God,
of course.
really angry.
Yes.
It was why? What am I? Am I such a horrible person that all these people that play the major part in who I am are just
Mhm.
not a part of my life anymore?
Mhm.
And so when I finally got over the anger and started realizing like, hey, this is life. This is happening.
Mhm.
It's not happening to me on purpose. It's not. It's just life.
Yes.
And that voice is like, this isn't your path. This isn't. This is what you're not supposed to be. This is not your path. You're meant for more.
Yeah.
And so, um, like I said, I went saw therapy. Um, I fell in love again with my wife now,
Yes.
and just started turning my life around little by little. And one thing led to me getting a good job, to me moving out of New York City, moving up to
Mhm.
the Pocono Mountains with my wife where she lived at, and just turning my life around and getting back into the self development and getting back into improving myself and wanting to learn and grow and develop.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for sharing that story. I'm sure many of our listeners can relate in one way or another because, life does sometimes throw us different things. And I know that I always say, God, I, I don't know what your religion is or whatever it is for anyone. I think whoever the powers that be, God, whoever, never throws you things that you're not going to be able to really tackle. And I'm a firm believer that even if it totally, totally sucks, because because I've been through different things in my life too, and even if it totally, totally sucks, and you're like, I don't know, you can always get through it, and those those things that made us stronger. I hated certain things that were happening to me. Um, And I was like, I remember one year in my life where, like, it was one thing after another, it was really. And I think every one of us has a year like that. And you get through that. And because I was able to get through it and come out the other end, I'm able to help others say, I got through it. We could get through it together. If I could give you just even a little hint to help you, that would be great. And I'm sure that's one of the things about your podcast. It helps a lot of people.
It was funny. It was funny because I didn't really share my story as
Hmm.
soon. I didn't share it out the jump. I didn't
Right.
go into the show thinking like I'm gonna just share. No, it took time for me to really
Of course.
get comfortable with talking about it and discussing it and telling people what happened. And
Hmm.
so once I got comfortable with myself being able to tell the story
Yeah.
and letting people know, like, listen, regardless of what obstacles life has
Yeah.
thrown at you, that you can always pick yourself up and just dust yourself off and continue to grind.
Yeah.
And for me, it was I was blessed that I found someone who who saw the potential in me.
Yes.
And even though I had my struggles, they saw who I could become.
Yes.
And so with my wife that I'm with now, shout out to Josephina, um, she's amazing. She like one like I, this is what made me fall in love with her because I've never had my passport in my whole entire life.
Okay.
And when we got together, she's like, "Do you have a passport?" I'm like, "No." It's like, well, we're gonna have to remedy that, and because I like to travel, and since then we've been to Aruba, Bahamas, Jamaica, Dominican Republic. We've traveled,
Wow.
and it's no woman had ever been like that. Like had ever been like I I want to travel. I see me traveling with you. Let's get yourself a
Aw.
passport, and so that kind of that there made me fall in love with her.
Yeah.
And like you said, you said something that really that really resonates with me. And and I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. I'm not
Hmm.
Catholic. I'm not Christian. But I do believe in a higher power.
Yes.
And so when you say that God don't throw at you stuff you can't handle, he it's true. Like I don't think many people could go through what I've been through and come out the other side,
Yes.
come out the other side. And I feel that he felt that I can carry the burden. He
Yes.
felt that I can carry those on my shoulders and come out to the other side. And because and many people give up,
I know. Yeah.
and I was blessed that even though I had my struggles and I still had I had an amazing mom who really is just a beautiful person who enjoyed life and to think about her and see how she handled life and all the tragedies that she was hit with.
Right.
It just kind of showed me that, listen, your mom is dealing with a lot of things as well, and she's overcoming it. And so just being having the support system of my family and my
Yes.
wife now and some and my friends and everything, it's just been amazing.
Yeah. Wow. That is, yeah. And it just reminded me of how we, in the self-development world, we always say surround yourself with 5 people that are going to elevate you, that'll keep you moving forward, of course, because we all want to evolve.
Mhm.
And I know that I don't like being stuck. I hate being stuck. I hate being stagnant. So, if I'm not going to be if I'm not going to be stagnant, then I've got to be moving. It's either going in the horrible direction or going in the right direction. And I remember one time it was a really sucky year for me, and a lot of things happened. My mom passed away. I had to let the year before that, I think I had to let my 16-year-old dog, go across the Rainbow Bridge. And that was like tough for me because I was so attached to my dog.
Yeah,
And I have no kids. So, and at the time I was divorced as well. So, still am, but that's a different story. Um, and, and then I had issues with the work situation that I was in, and I remember at that time, I was kind of spiraling a little out of control in that I was like going out to drink a lot every
mhm.
night, and I would come home drunk. And
I
when
know.
you're in that bad place
Yeah,
and you're
yeah,
like,
definitely.
yeah,
Where you spent, I drank a lot of Jose Cuervo and Hennessy, and it's but um something like when you said you mentioned you divorced. I
hmm,
think it hurts more when you're divorced, right? Then like with me, it's not like she chose to leave me. It just
right,
it was her time,
yeah,
and but I just feel like when you get divorced, this person no longer loves you.
yeah,
This person no longer wants to be with you. I think that feeling to me, I wouldn't wish that one on anyone. Like I wouldn't. This is someone that you supposedly love
yeah,
and they no longer want to be with you. Like
yeah,
me, I had no other choice. It was God wanted my wife and it was her time to go and I had no.
yeah.
But when you get divorced, I think that's kind of that's harder
It
on the
was rough.
person because now you see this person go and they start their life over and it looks like they're living a much better life than when they were with you. It's
Yeah,
just it can be hard.
it can be hard, but I learned that it was the best thing that happened to both of us.
Hmm.
We weren't. we were too young for one thing, and it was best that we went our separate ways and find each other. We were so young, we didn't know who we were, what we really wanted, both of us in our lives. And it got to a point where, yeah, it was very toxic for both of us, I think. I'm taking the blame too, it's not all his fault. I'm sure there were issues of communication and things like that as well. So for me, it was, and I look at things as, you can look at a situation and look at it from a negative perspective or positive perspective. And I'm one of these people that I don't want to think of it as a negative thing. I believe that whatever happens to me, I can get through it. And I always feel like, okay, I'm going to make the best of it. I'm not Pollyanna because, that's not really me either, because I could be pretty darn sarcastic when I need to be. And, but, I also go by the theory that even if I'm at the lowest point, I am not gonna lose. And I'm like, I'm not gonna let whoever is giving me the, whatever situation, I'm like, I'm not gonna give you the satisfaction of winning because I'm gonna freaking win. And that's probably the mindset that I have that kind of drives me a lot.
No, it's and it's funny because right because I try I do focus on positivity and growth mindset and all this other stuff, but you're human, like you're not
Yeah.
perfect, like
Oh no.
that, like um
Oh no.
as you can tell, I'm a Yankee fan, right?
Yes.
So I do not, I'm not I'm not, I have this thing with Boston, right? With Boston, period, and and so
Sorry to laugh, but I know.
I have this thing with the city of Boston, and I just don't like the city of Boston, and
I get it. Hey, because when I was growing up, my dad and I grew up in Japan most of my childhood, and then I came here, but it was back and forth. But I was a fan of this one team, and it was the Tokyo Giants, and I was a big Giants fan.
yeah,
And my dad, just to spite me, he would always say, "No, I'm a Hanshin Tiger fan," which is like they were the rivals,
rivals,
kind of
yeah.
like the Red Sox and the Yankees. So I was like, "Come on, Dad," and we would always be watching the games, and we would always be fighting over it. It was a
But
good fun, rivalry
no,
thing.
but
Yeah.
it's the whole. For me now, it's the whole. So I do a show called Mentality with a
Hmm.
friend of mine, with my brother Cole Johnson, and it's a wonderful show. It is and one thing that came out of it was me um saying an explicit about the city of Boston.
Oops. Oops. Oops.
and so and so now we have a bunch of friends that when they just whenever I come on, they play that specific clip of me. And it's like and but it's fun. It's done out of love, and
Yeah.
we have a great time with it. But yeah, uh, you're not perfect. You're
No.
human. You
Yeah.
just roll with the punches and go with where life takes you.
Yeah, I think that's true because I know that, like, even, with brain to belly, I know that I struggled with a lot of things, so I ate, and I was mentioning to someone else, I created this armor of fat for me so that I wouldn't get hurt anymore. And I know I was spiraling towards that when I was telling you about that drunk incident.
Yeah.
Drunk incident. Believe me, I didn't go that far. No, I stopped myself before that. I was like, this is bad. I'm spiraling. And I could easily get into the bottle. I could easily spiral out of control and really hurt myself, doing different things and whatnot. Because I know for me, like I have this, my personality is very at the time was very black and white, and I would not look at a lot of the gray areas. And and then when I get obsessed about something, I get very obsessive about something. So if I was going to go into that negative hole, I would have totally gone down that rabbit hole and stayed down there. And it would have been that dark, sticky, icky black
Yeah.
thing, right? And I was like, do I really want to go back there? Was one thing, because I knew of that.
Hmm.
And so I had a choice to make. And I think it was the same for you. You have choices,
Yeah.
and you're like, which do I want? Do I want the icky part, or do I want to go for it's scary, but go for the positive part?
And the thing is, the icky part sometimes is just easier. The
It
icky
is
part is
sometimes.
just easier, and to really and to go in the other direction, it's much harder because
Takes
you,
effort.
it, it's kind of you accepting whatever happened in you, and it's not easy. Life is not. If life was easy, everyone would be successful, but it's not.
No,
It's hard.
yeah,
But but there is situations where um you control
yes,
how you feel, how you react to everything. So and it's everything that I went through kind of also prepared me for what happened this year.
hmm,
Um, last year last year was one of the best years for my podcast. Like people really started downloading. My listenership was going up, and it was amazing. But at the same time, I was struggling because my mom was sick. She was dealing with dementia and Alzheimer's,
yeah,
and so she passed away this past February, and
sorry,
so she was a major role in who the man that I become, because I was raised by her and my
hmm,
sister. Like I didn't have any contact with my father for 25 years until 2009, and when I reunited with him, I just only lost him just as fast. So my mom and my sister played a major role in the man that I've become, and the man I'm becoming, because
hmm,
she instilled so much in me.
yeah,
My mom's door was open to everyone. So for me, it's
yeah,
I give back. I'm there for my friends. I'm there for whoever needs me, because that's what she taught me.
yeah,
She taught me that you're there for your friends. You're there for your family. Like I said, her door was open to everyone. No one went hungry. No one went without a. If they needed somewhere to crash to sleep for a few days, she it was her house. Her
yeah,
house was always open. And so for me, whenever I become a part of a community, my goal is to give back.
yeah,
Just like when I joined your community and I started inviting people, because I want everyone that I know to be a part of this community, because
thank you,
it's positive.
thank
It's,
you,
it's connecting with other like-minded people, and that's what you want. You want to connect people that think alike, that want to build together and
right,
collaborate and take stuff to the next level, because you're not going to do this alone.
no,
This has to be done in a community. This has to be
yeah,
done together. And so to be able to be a part of your community, and if any part I can help to make it bigger and grow, then I'm going to do that.
thank you. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. And when we had our first interview, we just kept going and going in
Oh,
our conversation.
we
We
had
had
a
a
great
great,
conversation. We had a
yeah,
great conversation.
yeah. I mean, it could have lasted for hours, I would have said. Yeah. And we, because we so resonated with each other, plus our thinking, and that really, our belief systems
Hmm.
is what changes, what can create change for us. And you were, you talked about your mother and your sister, and they instilled positive and beautiful, belief systems in you. and you were able to base your things off of that, and that was like the foundation that you had,
Mhm.
which was so wonderful. And I think that all of us, if we can just, it's a little tweak in here, it's like that 2 millimeter shift that a lot of people talk about. It's like if you started off in Miami and let's say you were in a plane and you set the coordinates to go to, I don't know, Chicago, for instance, right? Let's say, for example. And if you're off by 2 millimeters, you're gonna either go to, I don't know, to Oregon or Canada or wherever, right? It could be way off.
Yeah,
And it's like just, the little shifts can make a big difference. So, just starting with small, small shifts can make a big difference in your outlook and the way you start thinking about yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
It really a little shift can really impact a lot. Um, even with like when I wasn't in media. I didn't. I'm a table game supervisor. I wasn't on TV. I didn't do live radio.
Hmm.
This wasn't my professional choice. Um, but when I jumped into it, I and fell in love with it. I was like, okay, so I'm gonna invest in myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to invest in a quality mic. I'm going to invest in a quality camera, the lighting. I'm going to invest in myself because this is
Hmm.
something that I love to do. And people are giving me something very precious,
Yes.
which is their time.
Yes.
So I want to make sure that when people listen to me or are watching me, that they're getting the best quality possible. And
Yes.
it's important for me to, so when I got furloughed from work and I was starting out the podcast, I was getting extra money from the government. I could have easily went and spent that on sneakers and clothing, and but what I did was invested in courses. I took audio edit or I've learned how to edit audio, video, so many different things. Canva, I love using Canva. I started being much more creative, something that I didn't think I was.
Yeah. That's
I'm actually am. I'm very creative. I
good.
love creating content. I love being able to develop shows and talk to people about creating shows and just having great conversations. And then the people that I get to meet,
Oh
like
gosh.
I would have never met you had
Yes.
I not started my podcast.
That's true.
I would have
That's
never met any of the people that I have in in my life now because I didn't take that risk. I didn't
Yeah.
make myself uncomfortable. And that's something that I've learned is in order for me to go to that next level, I have to make myself uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I can't just be complacent.
Yep.
I have to go out
Exactly.
there and challenge myself.
Yep.
So when I finally pressed record and I released it, was it great? No. But with each episode, it's just you can just see the improvement.
Yes.
You can go back to episode one and I actually episode one was like 5 minutes long. So what I did was after a few months of me being comfortable and all that, I re-recorded like 30 more minutes and added it to the original
Oh,
episode.
wow.
So it was so I changed it from the introduction to now is the introduction slash reintroduction. And so it was me
That's nice. Yeah.
just showing people, look, this is where I started. This is where I'm at right now when I did the research. And
Hmm.
now it's
Wow.
even much more of improvement or as far
Yeah.
as what I'm doing and how I structured my show and because
Wow.
it's evolved in just
Yes.
in the 4 years it's evolved to where it's at now to
Yeah.
where it's more focused on having people come on talk about entrepreneurship and growth mindset and all these different
Hmm.
topics that can help people grow
Yeah.
and make an impact and that's where I'm at now where I want my show to make that impact.
Right.
So if I can touch one person's life or two people, whatever, I'm doing what I'm supposed to.
I hear you.
So when you get that message from people saying like, "Oh man, I had to thank you for this episode. This really resonated with me," or even clips. There's clips that I put up and people will be like, oh man, I needed to hear that clip. I needed that. I needed that. I need that
Right.
inspiration today.
Yep. Yep. And it's true. I mean, they always, which made me reminded me of this phrase that I hear a lot in self-development is that, people don't remember exactly what you said, but they will remember how you made them feel.
Yeah,
And at first I was like, what? But then when you think about it, you really understand because I know, like, I may not remember what somebody said to me, but if they made me feel really good about myself, I remember
yeah,
that
yeah.
feeling. And I think it's true for all of us. So, just one word that we said made them feel like they were like on the top of the world. That would be it's such a beautiful thing. And just to be able to, with just a smile or just one gesture that I can make somebody feel good, that I feel like I've done my deed for the day, or at least I've done my part. And I feel like that way I could pay it forward because there's so many times that people have made me feel really good when
Yeah.
I needed it. Like when I needed a hug. There were times when I was like, I don't know about this, right? And there were times when I was like, screw this and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to go down that spiral, and then it's like, forget about taking care of my health, forget about everything. Um, and but there were people there for me that supported me and were able to give me that hug. And like I said earlier, the 5 people that you want to surround yourselves with, surround yourselves with really positive people that are going to really elevate you and help you to evolve, because that's, to me, is the whole purpose of being here, is to evolve and to influence as many people as possible, to offer love and kindness to them.
Oh no, I've been blessed to have people see that I'm dedicated to what I'm doing, and just they see and they want to coach me,
Yeah,
and some of them do it for free.
yeah,
Like some of them they
of
paid for,
course.
but there's some people that I've been blessed that want to work with me because they see that this is someone I
Yeah,
want to. This is someone who really wants to learn and grow,
yeah,
and I'm willing to share that knowledge with them. And I've been blessed. Like um, Phil Better, who's a phenomenal podcaster. His goal is to help 1 million podcasters
wow,
get to where they're monetized and he sees the work that I put into my podcast and everything, and he goes, I want you to take this automated course that I'm starting. It's in beta and everything. I'm like, cool, send. I'm all in, and it's helped me so much because now I send out my weekly email with my content and everything, and these are things that I didn't do before.
right.
So to have someone who knows how to do this, willing to work with me and show me how to do it
Hmm.
and help me grow and not ask anything. All he asked in return was give me a review
Yeah,
and post it on the site. And okay, I can do
yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah, you found like a mentor, and it's so important to find the right mentors and to be able to model the right people, because, and it sounds so simple, but we don't know about it. Nobody tells us you're supposed to mentor people or model people that you think are great or you think you want to be like, because nobody, I mean, it's something that should be taught in schools, really. Like, find somebody you want to model and model that person.
Yeah,
And because it's so important, you find so many qualities of that person that you want to be like, and those are qualities that you aspire to. Like for me, like integrity is like a big part of who I am, and I like people that, well, I like integrity in people. I see it in people, and if I don't see it in someone, I don't trust, well, I totally don't trust it. And then it's like a big warning sign. Okay, this person is full of poo poo, right?
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
no, it's no, it's so true. Um, am I perfect? No,
I'm not
but
either.
I know what kind of people I want around me
Yeah,
morally. I
yeah,
know who I want to hang around with. I know
yeah,
what kind of people I want around me, and so, but I don't. That those are the people I attract into my life now.
yes,
Now those are the people that are coming into my life, being
yes.
able to meet
Magnetism.
you and have and build a friendship with you
Yes,
and build a relationship with you. Those these are the people that I'm attracting now,
yes. It's
and these
so
are the people
true.
that I want to be around because
Yeah,
they're making an impact. They're they're changing people's lives, and they're doing it because they honestly want to do it from the goodness of their heart,
right.
not because they're thinking about, oh, I'm going to make all this money, or
No,
I'm going to. No, a lot of people that I associate with, they don't really care about the money. They care more about making the impact on people's lives.
yeah. It's true. Like even in my coaching, I mean, yes, I could use money,
Of course,
definitely. And
oh, we
of
could,
course,
we all could use
yeah,
money, of
we could
course.
all use a little extra money, but
Yes,
for me, it's more important that when I see that smile on somebody's face when like I'm coaching them through, eating and like struggles with, like, let's say for example nighttime eating, and we coach through that and they find a solution that works for them, and I see the smile on their face, or when it clicks in their head, you see them thinking, and all of a sudden they have this, right, that aha moment, and you're like, I'm so thrilled. I mean, it's like my passion. I see it and I get chills because I know that they've got it. And like for me, it was a big difference when I was able to find that part of me to control my eating, control the way I thought about myself, about my body and all this. When I was able to find that, and then there were a lot of people that helped me too. I was an exercise bulimic, so I would overeat and then exercise to, like go of all that,
yeah,
right? And I worked with an exercise physiologist at one point who taught me that exercise and activity doesn't need to be painful. Because I thought that I had to, you know, be in pain at the gym and work out and do this and do that. And then she reminded me, she said, well, when you were a kid, didn't you run around the playground? Didn't you have fun doing that? And I said, yeah, I did. I loved jumping around, running around, climbing trees and things like that. She goes, let's think of it that way and let's get our activity in that way. So pretend you're a kid again. And I was like, wow, that was like so liberating just to hear that and to know that. And so, like, little things like that, when you find the people that can teach you, be open to it and let them into your heart because I know it's painful to let people in. But sometimes if your gut's telling you, this is my brain to gut thing again, but if your gut is telling you this person's good or this will be important for you, trust it because it's usually right.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. And even me now lately, I know I have to lose weight, and so I started this app. I downloaded this app. I
Hmm.
paid for it and everything, and I'm on day 6 of doing yoga and stretching, and of course with each day it's getting a little bit tougher and
Yeah.
tougher, and I'm like stretching out muscles that I've haven't hadn't stretched out in years.
That you didn't even know existed,
Yeah,
right?
like so, the great thing is it it's taking me step by step. It's like the first couple of days is probably like 7-10 minutes of
Yeah.
exercise, right? Because that's the thing. Everybody starts going gun ho and getting
You
exercise
can't
and
do
burn
it that way.
themselves out,
Mm-mm.
right? So now this program, what it's doing is taking me step by step and slowly
Yeah.
and helping me
Yep.
grow little by little
Yep.
and learn. And so now I'm day 6, and I'm like, oh man, I'm still a little sore. There's muscles that I'm still feeling, but it feels good personally
Yeah.
to be able to be like, all right, I'm yes, it's not perfect. I'm not doing the exercise perfectly because
Doesn't matter if you're
I
doing
don't,
it.
but at least I'm here doing it.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what I always say. Like, I tell my people here that I was in the wellness industry and I still am, and for 20 something years, and I would work with women and men. But I would say, you know, even if it's like one little thing, if it's like you are focusing on drinking more water, every day, one extra glass is all you need to do. I said, if you can do one extra glass, that's good. Or if you can do, I say, don't say I'm going to go work out every single day because that probably won't happen. I don't know. It could happen, but then you'll get burnout because I know me and I know I can't do that. If I say that, I'm setting myself up for trouble, right?
Yeah. And
So I
that's
say
why
10 minutes, 5 minutes.
and that's why I enjoy this because it's not making me do 3 hours of exercise. It,
Exactly.
it, it it- it's showing me it knows like, listen, we're gonna start off with 5-10 minutes,
Yep.
and that's how we for the first week. That's how it's been. It's been 5 to 10 minutes. Certain days 7 minutes. It all depends. But it's not now. Now when I get up in the morning, I'm looking forward to doing it because it's just 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I
And it
may yeah,
feels,
eventually it'll grow more, but it's a start. It's
yeah.
it's me starting. It's me
And how, yeah.
realizing like I'm 47 years old. I'll be 48 in July. Um, I'm not a young boy no more. I need to really start taking better care of myself, especially if I want to continue to do this and do it at a high level.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah.
there's things that have to start sacrificing
Yeah.
and changing. But
But it's,
that's what life is
yep.
is continuous evolvement.
Yep.
Just keep evolving. Keep
And
going.
yeah. And I think that's a big part of self love too,
Hmm.
that you're starting to care for yourself and love yourself. And that's one of the most difficult things I think all of us face in life because, we're kind of told throughout society, oh, you're being egotistic if you love yourself, or self-care, you're being selfish or whatever. But you know what? The thing is, it's not. No.
No. So I had a guest
Mhm.
and I told him that I told him exactly that. I said, "Oh man, I feel selfish. I feel selfish." And they're like, "Why?" I says, "Because I'm enjoying these conversations so much, and I'm having a great time. I'm learning so much from these podcast episodes." And they go, "There's nothing selfish about that. That's all self love. The fact that you wanted to grow and improve and learn from these people, and you're sharing it with your audience.
Right.
Where's the selfishness in that? There's nothing. You're willing to share this with other people,
Yeah.
and because you're enjoying it, there's nothing wrong with that. And that's what it is. If it gets to the point where people feel like, oh, me wanting to improve myself, you always have those people like, oh, what do you think you're better than me because you're trying to work on yourself and improve? No, I'm not trying to be better than you. I'm just trying to be better than myself.
Oh, right.
I'm
Exactly.
trying to be a better version of myself
Better
today.
than you were yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where the conflict begins because people see this that you're trying to make yourself a better person,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, you think you're better than me? No, it's not. That's not the case. I want to change for me. I'm
Yeah.
not I'm not trying to change because I see you doing something. I want to change because
Yeah.
I need to change.
Right.
I need to lose weight. I
Oh, you
know
want that.
being this weight is not healthy for me.
Mhm. Yeah. And I think it boils down to what you want. And, as to what the other person says, that's a reflection of them. That's them filtering everything that they see through their filters
Mhm.
and outputting whatever they feel.
Yeah.
And that could be a projection of, I don't know, maybe they feel left out, or they feel like you're not going to be the same person you were before. Um, and that could be loneliness, that could be a lack of confidence, I don't know, but it's just a reflection of what they are, it's not a reflection of you. And when you start thinking of it that way, it's like, "Oh, okay, you know, like I had, I have my Facebook group, Brain to Belly, and I asked somebody to please, send over some people that you think might be helpful for the community. And one of my friends did, and he sent one to this one person, and he got this response: "I don't have any issues with food. Why are you sending me this?" And I was like, "Oh my god," I felt so bad for my friend, and I said, "Well, that's a reflection of what that person is feeling, and that's going through her or his filters, so let's just leave that be." And, but I said, "I'm sorry that you had to go through that, because, I never like it when any of my friends have to feel pain, right?" But, I said, "That's that person's pain that person is reflecting onto you."
Yeah,
And sometimes it's hard to think of it that way when you're being attacked, but, you know, that's one way to ease the pain a little bit, I think, I guess.
yeah, no, no,
Yeah.
it really is. It, so
Mhm.
making an impact for me, right?
Mhm.
I recorded an episode probably in the December of 2022,
Mhm.
and it was someone who she was already a guest on my show, and I recorded this episode, and I kind of lost track of it. It was
Mhm.
in my vault, and so one day I'm looking for an episode to release, and I'm like, oh man, I haven't released this episode.
Mhm.
So I release it. I put the description and everything. I create the thumbnail, and I tag the
Mhm.
person, and they send me a message. They're like, is this the episode we recorded a year ago? And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, oh man, I'm like, my bad. I apologize. And what had turned out was she was so amazed with all the wonderful comments I said about her in the description. The picture that I took was one of her favorite pictures, and but lately she had been struggling with that. She had been struggling with the fact that she didn't feel like that person anymore. She didn't feel like any of the things that I described. She wasn't feeling like that person. So it was amazing that the episode that we recorded, our episode, was something that helped uplift her.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't release it on time, but I did release it on time.
Yeah, it was the time that whoever up
Mm,
there or whatever
yeah,
knew that it was the time to do it.
yeah,
And
that they knew this person
yeah,
needed this episode. So
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really, I think it's fascinating how when we start paying attention to things like that,
Hmm.
you start realizing that a lot of things that are happening to you, it's the law of magnetism, that you're magnetizing and you're manifesting so many things that are beneficial for you and for people around you.
Yeah,
And you start thinking, wow, I've got this power, it's like power, but it's really like this control, this choice thing, right? Okay, hey, I'm a little bit of the, sci-fi, anime and all
no,
that
no, no,
stuff,
but
but
it's
but
amazing though.
yeah,
It's amazing
it's
when
beautiful.
when you when you're able to realize that, man, like I didn't know that I didn't know episode that we recorded a year earlier would have the impact that it would have on her life. We did
Yeah,
we, we would have thought it would have impact other people, but for that episode in particular to impact her,
yes,
and it was her episode,
yeah,
it was like, oh man, you never know when someone needs to hear these messages. You don't know
yeah,
when and it's happened quite a few times where I receive a message from people that they're like, man, I heard this episode. Thank you.
yeah,
Listening to
definitely.
you and such, it's amazing. And I love it.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I love that there's this always these divine interventions, or I don't know. I, it's like, but everything happens for a reason. And like a
Mhm.
lot of people say, you know, um, you're exactly where you're supposed to
Supposed to
be.
be.
Like sometimes I struggle, like thinking, no, but so and so's this far, so and so's this far, so and so's doing this. And I'm like, what am I doing? And then you're like, oh, no, no, no. And you start spiraling. And then I always come back to, no, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Oh no, it's all right. So I'm friends with a lot of podcasters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but their subjects is more um and more entertainment, and it's more pop culture, and so their
Mm-hmm.
audience is much bigger than mine's, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you guys are killing it. Da, da, da." And then when we talk, they're like, but we would love to do what you're doing.
No. Yeah.
They're like, yeah, we have these big audiences and all that, but you're making an impact.
Yeah.
You're touching people's lives. You're changing people's lives.
Wow.
We're just entertaining people.
Yeah.
They're like, if we could do what you do on a regular basis, I would, and it hit. It kind of hit me like, wow. Here I am looking at them like, man, they doing great. They're doing all these downloads. They got all these wonderful guests. They got all these celebrities. Da, da, da. And they go, we would love to do what you're doing.
Yeah. So we're running out of time, but of course, as usual,
Yes,
you and
well,
I
what?
always run out of time. So, Will, how would our viewers get in touch with you? And where's your podcast? And
Oh, my podcast,
Mhm.
Stuck in My Mind podcast, it's on all major platforms. It's on Spotify, Apple, Podbean, Google Podcast, everywhere. Everywhere you find a podcast. Stuck in My Mind podcast is on those platforms. You can find the YouTube channel where we have videos of, because at first I started strictly audio, but then eventually you transition to video, so
Yep,
you can catch some of my live shows that I do. Um, Catch me every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on on Stuck in My Mind podcast YouTube channel, as well as Real Wise TV's YouTube's channel. And
yeah,
yeah, and you can visit the website, www.stuckinmymindpodcast.com, or you can
okay.
even check out the production company website, www.realwiseproductions.com.
Okay, thank you so much, Will, for coming here today. And thank you for the wonderful conversation.
I had a great time. Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Yes, we'll have to do a part two sometime soon.
Whenever, just let me know.
Yeah. Okay, so this show can be heard on Spanglish Radio Network. Please check out http:// spanglishworld.ca for all the news and programming. Spanglish World, watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. So thank you very much for being on today. I appreciate all of you viewers, and I appreciate you, Will. Thank you.
Thank you.